Yeah! To quote one of my broadcasting people that I admire in sport broadcasting, Chris Broussard. Yeah! It's time to get it cracking on this next episode of the next show with your boy, Deli Del, D Midas, Heavy D. All right, let's get it popping. On this episode, things of nature to discuss. This is going to be the NHL playoff preview episode. So I'm going to break down all the matchups, my predictions, which team is going to win, in how many games, and why I believe that it will happen in as many games as it will. So all that analysis from my perspective is going down. So that's all coming up here. Now, before I get into any of that, though, some of my friends, some of my peeps have been hitting me up saying, "Oh, you're leaving so and so team out of the discussion, and X team out of the discussion, and Y team out of the discussion." So, don't worry, guys. In due time, we'll get to all that chatter as everything unfolds here on everybody's quest for the cup. Now, I do want to say real quick before I get to the playoff preview portion and my predictions for every matchup. I do want to give some shout outs since y'all been hitting me up on this. So first, congratulations to Calgary, the Calgary Flames, for moving on and getting to be part of the dance. Shout out to Vancouver Canucks. Congrats to you guys. You worked your butts off and you were able to make it to the round of the 16. Congrats to the Habs. We talked very much in depth about the Habs on the last show, so I'm not going to get too much on that. And also, congrats to Phoenix for moving on as well. Very admirable job. And the Colorado Avalanche moving on as well. So these matchups look pretty good. So good luck to all the teams that moved on. And, let's hope you all have to play Philly at some point because, they're looking pretty good right now. They're looking very good. So, as far as the preview is concerned and the matchups and everything in my predictions, I'm looking at the playoff tree right now. So we'll start in the East, since I'm in the Eastern time zone here in lovely London, Ontario. And that's most of the games I'll be watching will be on the east side of Canada. So let's start with the big matchup, the matchup of importance for me. I'll be keeping a very close eye on this one. Number one ranked in the East. Oh, that's so great to say. Number one ranked Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Montreal Canadiens as the number 8 seed in this playoff tree. So I said on the last show, Flyers in 6. And, I've already talked about some of the reasons why. I don't really want to get into that. I want to save time for some of the other things I never got to talk about on the last show that have unfolded in the NHL so far. But, Flyers in 6. I think, Carter Hart may be rattled in the first game or two, but he'll be laser focused. He'll want to prove that he's in front of his idol, somebody who he's admired his whole young life in Carey Price, and he wants to prove that he can outduel him. And certainly, Philly has the firepower, the veteran presence, the grit, the skill, the heart, the coaching to get it done. So, Philly in 6, possibly 7, but I don't see it going that far. All right, next matchup. The Lightning taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets, the winner of the only Game 5 matchup in the play-in round. So, yes, the Columbus Blue Jackets, a rematch of last year's sweep, whom everybody, started making jokes about Tampa Bay and this and that. I mean, I've already said that I, for one, thought it was a fluke. And, I believe Tampa will come back and prove it again. I want to say as far as the winner and how many games though is concerned, because I know that's what you guys want to tune in for. I want to say this time around, I want to say Tampa Bay in 7, but that's honestly a 50-50 in Game 7. I know I'm on the fence with this one, but I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning, I know they're going to come back hungry. They're going to come back and prove to everybody that it was not a sweep. But, man, Columbus looked really good. And I know it was only against the hapless Leafs, but I think that sort of experience that they had against the Leafs will sort of, you know, bond them and unify them. And, with Tortorella coaching, everybody talks about how much he yells and he cusses and this and that, but he's pretty good X's and O's guy too. So he knows where everybody's going to have to be positioned, and where everybody's going to have to be on the ice to make plays and get guys motivated to make those plays and execute. So I want to say Tampa Bay in 7 because they want to prove that last year that sweep was not a fluke, and they certainly are definitely going to get their chance with this rematch against Columbus. So the next matchup I'm looking at here on the playoff tree is the Washington Capitals versus the New York Islanders. Oh yeah, also my boy Mikey's gonna kill me for this. The Islanders at all until now. I'm sorry, bro. Okay, but we are gonna talk about the Islanders right now for just a little bit, at least, because they are going up against Alexander Ovechkin, the Great A, the Great, and the rest of the Russian company, Kuznetsov, Orlov and company, Braden Holtby, and the Washington Capitals, who, let's not forget, are a couple years removed from winning the Stanley Cup. I think they still have a good team. However, based on the way that the Islanders played, I think it's their time. So I want to say Islanders in 7, not just for you, Mikey, but I think that, everything seems to be coming along for Philly, and this is also a very intriguing matchup in the sense that you have Barry Trotz, who's now the head coach of the Islanders, coming back and taking on the former team, the team that he won a Stanley Cup with after trying all those years in Nashville and coming up short. He finally gets one with Nashville, then leaves. Now he's with the Islanders, and he's doing pretty well there. He's got them in a position to, be in the playoff and try to win it. So Barry Trotz coming back to face his old team. We'll see what happens. He knows that team very well, and he knows how they will be coached. And I think it's going to be a very intriguing matchup in terms of how Barry with this Islanders team and how they're sort of set up as more of a stifling, defensive, team-oriented kind of team versus the way that the Caps were trying to play and run and gun and score a lot of goals and this and that. When Barry was there. I will admit, I mean, Barry was probably the only guy that coached Ovechkin that actually got him to play defense and be good at it. So, if Barry can get Alex Ovechkin to play defense, then I think he might get the job done with the Islanders. I'm going to say Islanders in 7. Isles in 7. Next matchup, the Boston Bruins versus the Carolina Hurricanes. This is a very interesting one for me, actually. I don't know if they played each other and Boston took out Carolina. I believe that was the case, and then they ended up going to the Stanley Cup final against St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'll let your boy always. But as far as I know, yeah, I mean, Carolina had a nice little playoff run, I think, last year or the year before that. And I think it may have been cut short by the Bruins. So I think the Hurricanes are going to come out and try to give Boston all they can handle. Now, this is a really tough one to call, though. I mean, this could easily go a coin flip. I mean, the Hurricanes, they're looking like such a good, composed, elegant team right now that it's really hard to see them being eliminated right off the bat. They're expected to go to the second round at least, and I think that the Bruins are fading, but they still have a championship pedigree and a Stanley Cup winning coach. So, I think for this one, I want to say Bruins in 7, but again, this just like the Lightning Blue Jacket series. I mean, that one could go either way as well in Game 7 if it gets to that point. So I believe that's one series that may go the distance, and I think the Bruins, because of how they came out in the round robin, completely embarrassed, 0-3, not a good showing whatsoever. I mean, whatever. You can say all you want that you don't care about these games, but when somebody like me is coming on a radio sports talk show and saying that they look bad and they look horrible, you know, there's going to be other people that are going to be having that kind of chatter as well. In the Boston media. I mean, I know I'm a Flyers fan when I say this, but they just look like just trash against Philly, getting sniped on by third and fourth line guys, and then just I don't know, they didn't look like they had any heart. So hopefully they can pick up whatever sort of heart and guts they got left, and make something of this of eliminating Carolina. We'll see. I mean, they're certainly trending down, and Carolina is trending up. But I think that the championship pedigree and the Stanley Cup winning coaching and preparation may just come through in the end and be able to propel these guys forward to the next round. We'll see. We will see. Now, moving on to the Western Conference portion of the playoff rounds here, and the first matchup is the number one ranked Vegas Golden Knights against the number 8 seed Chicago Blackhawks. Now, I said this before on one of my episodes. When I seen Chicago play in the exhibition, they showed a lot of determination and a lot of skill. And that is what got them into the position that they're in now. I don't think the Blackhawks should be taken lightly whatsoever. They still have vets on there, but now they have newer young guys who are hungry, and they want to come out and try and show the veteran guys who already have Stanley Cups and have that experience. Want to show them that, hey, we're here to take you guys along for the ride now, So let us try and do the heavy lifting now. So, they look very good, throughout the exhibition matchup that I saw them in, and in that series against Edmonton. Wow, they looked so poised and composed. Again, what a team with Stanley Cup rings on it within the last 10 years should look like. They should, with that kind of talent and maturity and experience, you should be able to get far against a team like Edmonton, who I know they have McJesus, and that's all fine and good, and he's one of the he should be highly regarded as one of the most favored and talented and great players of all time. Certainly, of this generation, the greatest player ever that I think we've ever been witness to, as far as the younger generation who haven't seen Gretzky play live. Certainly there's that Edmonton has going for it, but really not much else. They're young. There's not that much talent there from what we saw in that playoff series. And yeah, I just think that Chicago should not be underestimated. I know Vegas has a good team, but they're still, they're still, what's the word I'm looking for? They're still an expansion franchise, and they're still kind of like getting their legs underneath them as far as having a winning culture and a winning mentality. So for this one, I want to say Blackhawks in 6. I think they're going to carry a lot of momentum from that Edmonton series into this series, and I think they're going to play skilled, they're going to play fast, they're going to play determined, and I think they're going to if they want to win this round, they're going to have to make short work of it. It cannot go to a game 7. So I believe that Chicago knows that because of the championship pedigree, mentality, experience, and they'll want to close that out early. So I think Chicago in 6 for that matchup. Next on the docket, the Colorado Avalanche against the Phoenix Coyotes. I don't think I have to get too much into this one. I said on previous shows that the big line for Colorado is ready to go. They played pretty well in the round robin portion of their games that they played. So, if the defense can hold up, Kale McCarr doesn't get injured, and he can make some very good plays, I think they can at least win this round. The Coyotes, I mean, they had to scratch, claw, and bite their way into this position, and they were giving it all they had. And you certainly don't want to piss off a guy like Rick Tocchet, who's sitting behind you if you make a mistake. So there's that aspect of it, but he's not a great X's and O's guy. He's more of a players coach who's a hard ass and demands a lot of his players, especially when they mess up. But he's not a super great X's and O's guy. And Nathan McKinnon, I mean, this guy's on fire. He's ready to go. He's just gonna just start collecting points as soon as this whole dance starts up. So for this one, with all that being said, um, Avalanche in 5. This is going to be a short series. I don't see Phoenix surviving this one. Colorado, I think, is just going to be too much. They didn't have to play Colorado. They had to play Nashville in the short series. And Colorado is very much different than Nashville. I don't know what it was about Nashville in that series against Phoenix. What happened, if they just like choked or what it was. But, you know, this Colorado Avalanche team is not Nashville. They're young and they're hungry. And they're going to come out, and you're going to have to put on the turbo jets to skate with these guys because they're going to be flying all over the place. Next matchup, got the number 3 seeded Stars against the Calgary Flames. So, as I said earlier on the show, good on the Flames for making it as far as they did. I certainly didn't see that coming. I mean, I didn't see them taking out the Winnipeg Jets as quickly as they did. But once Scheifele went down, they really don't have the Winnipeg Jets really don't have another sort of option they can go to at the number 1 center spot. And Brian Little was still sitting out the season as well. Let's not forget that. So you're already down a pretty good second line centerman. And now Scheifele goes down, doesn't play the rest of the series. You basically effed, and that's what happened. So good on Calgary to take advantage of that situation. However, it may have come about dirty, clean, blah, blah, blah. Who knows ultimately. Only Matt Kachuk knows that, and he's not going to give the media the real answer. So, be that as it may, they took advantage of him being out, exploiting, poor coverages and, not having Shifley as a top scoring option there. They got the job done, and they advance. And against the Dallas Stars, I'm going to see more of the same. The Stars are a better team than last year, but they're not a great team. They really haven't impressed me much. And Calgary seems to be that little pit bull, that just keeps coming and coming and coming. They're not going to go away easy. And I think that the Stars don't have guys that can sort of take their game to the next level when the pressure comes up and the game becomes more physical and more agitating to play. I think they sort of break down internally. The Stars do. So the Flames don't. They love that. They love that kind of physical, rough and tumble, rugged kind of play. And I think if they can continue that, it's going to play right into their hands. And I think Dallas collapses. For this one, I'm going to say Calgary in 6. Again, they'll have to make short order of it because you never know. Anything can happen in a Game 7, winner take all. So if they do get into the heads of the Dallas Stars and play well, they're going to have to close them out sooner than later. So I do see Calgary in 6 taking this one for all those reasons I mentioned. And the last series here, we end up with the number 4 ranked Blues against the Canucks in the 8th seed slot. So the Canucks, again, by virtue of getting in and winning their series, in which they look very impressive. Bo Horvat, Brock Besser is playing well. Elias Pettersson, obviously, I mean, we know that guy comes ready to play every night. And, Chris Tanev with that winning goal. Oh, man, that was awesome. That was great. Mr. No Teeth. Just like me. That was awesome. It was good to see him score that goal. He's going to be a hero. He's going to be a legend in Vancouver if they can go on and do some damage in the playoffs this year. So, St. Louis, I mean, they didn't look great, and then they ended up being last in that round robin portion. You're coming back as a defending Cup champs, and that was a very poor run in the exhibition matchup and in the round robin play as well. So I don't know what's happening with those guys, if they're gassed, if they just don't want to play, if they thought all these other games didn't count for anything, but they better be ready to play these games and make sure that they know that they count, because the Canucks are going to be a handful. They're going to be a handful, but I think St. Louis is still a great team, and a lot of those guys from that Cup winning team are coming back. So I think they are going to be able to give the Canucks fits, and this is a young Canucks team who is still learning and finding out ways to win under Travis Green, who's done a very admirable job of coaching that team and getting them to the point of success where they are at now. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think there's going to be some more growing pains for these young guys. I think the series could go 7 games, but I want to say St. Louis in 6. I believe is what's going to happen. Could be less, but yeah, St. Louis in 6. Vancouver's got a great team. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy that they were able to get into this round of 16 portion, and I'm hoping that they can take out St. Louis, because it would be great to see Vancouver in the Stanley Cup final again, hopefully versus Philly. But please, if they lose again to Philly in that scenario, if it were to happen, please don't riot again, guys. That was crazy and completely unnecessary and stupid. Don't do that again if you lose. Please show some class. So, with that, those are my playoff predictions. You can rewind the tape to get a recap of that. I'm not going to do that for you guys. But yeah, those are my playoff predictions. Rewind it back to listen to them again. I know I probably will. Those are my predictions going forward. So, guys, we'll see how this ends up going. Stay tuned for all of the happenings that are going to go on in the NHL. It's going to be great. I'm so excited to watch finally. Very excited about the Flyers Canadiens series. Should be a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, so I'm excited for you guys to come on back and watch another new episode of the next show. As always, guys, I want to say thank you and big shout out to my wifey, Boo Kirsten. Without you, this show wouldn't be possible. I love you, and I'm so glad that you're here to be able to take care of me and love me and put up with all of my crazy nuances. And my baby Sophia, my baby girl, mwah, Daddy loves you so much. I love you. You are the wind beneath my wings. You are the apple of my eye. You are so much that I could want being a daddy and more. I love you so much. I love my girls. Mwah. Shout out to both of you. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Hug those you love, wash your hands, and stay tuned for another episode of the next show.